Hello and welcome to the Divine Alignment. I'm Edward. It's a pleasure to welcome you here. If you don't know me, I'm a spiritual life coach, a personal trainer, creative consultant and body psychotherapist. And the Divine Alignment is a pathway, a platform and a pathway to help you embody your divinity and really expand your creative, your physical and your spiritual potential so that you can thrive and flourish. So today I'm going to run you through 3 very simple exercises to help you embody deeper into your pelvis. So, a few reasons why this is important. When we contract our pelvis, and a lot of us do unconsciously, when those muscles in the hips, the pelvis, the groin, the perineum are contracting, our glutes are contracting, we're holding our life force and we're holding our sexual creative energy. And so it's impossible to fully step into our potential if we don't allow that force and that energy and ultimately that consciousness to flow. So especially if you're sat a lot of the day, so in our current society, the way it's shaped, we tend to be sitting a lot in the car, at home, at work, we're constantly sitting. And what happens when we do that, it creates even more tension around that area and even more slugginess over the energy. It contracts it and it kind of keeps it tight and small. And so especially if you're sitting, this is going to be super important. And lastly, this is also linked to human design. So if you're interested in human design, a lot of people have what we call sacral or emotional authority, meaning that they're going to be feeling the yes, the no of their inner guidance around that area, around the sacral area. So pelvis, gut, you can think of it of that area. And so it's super important to be able to listen to that place, be able to have an awareness of what it's saying. And in order to do that, we have to be more open in our energy there, in our muscles, in our joints, in our ligaments. We have to be kind of a bit more fine-tuned to listening out to the messages that come from that area. Ultimately, this is the pelvis, the gut, but specifically the pelvis. When you rest and you relax into your pelvis with your knees soft, you can drop into the gut, the intelligence of the gut. You can drop into your heart. You drop out of the mind a bit more. So ultimately what this gives you is deeper presence and power. This is what I want to call your dragon. When you really get into your pelvis, into the yes and the no and the sexuality and the creativity that lives in there, this really takes you forth into your life. A quick note, this is also, we store a lot of anger in the pelvis. So there's also dragon energy in that anger. So anger, frustration might come up throughout this practice. That's completely okay. Just breathe into it. See if you can allow it to pass. See if you can allow it to reveal what it's about. And just know that it's okay to feel that anger. Let it move through you. Okay? You are a container. You can let it pass without it having to be projected onto anyone. You can just let it move through you at this point in time. So enjoy the practice, and I'll see you on the other side. For the first exercise, you're going to find a place where you can lie down. And you start lying down with your feet on the floor, your knees up. You can start by relaxing and taking some breaths in your own time, really connecting with your body and your pelvis. And then what you do is you lift up the pelvis until it's off the floor, and you start a shaking motion from the pelvis. So just gentle at first, shaking from the pelvis with softness. And you allow some sound to travel through your body and out through your mouth. So this might feel a bit silly at first, and that's perfectly fine. But the sound is very important. Connecting with your mouth is very important because it allows you to connect emotionally, energetically to what you're doing. So in the video, I do 3 or 4 exhales with sound before taking a pause 3 times. So you can do this, or you can make it up for your own self, how it feels, what feels good to you. You can go for as long as you want. I would highly recommend to do it at least for a couple of minutes, and you can keep going for 5, 10, 20 minutes if you want to. Taking pauses like I do in the video to really feel what's coming up, how the pelvis is, how the muscles and joints and ligaments are, making some small adjustments before going up again, beginning the shake, and allowing that sound to come on the exhale. So for the sound, it could be pleasure that comes. It could at times be also a bit painful. There might be some tension that comes up. Express that. Express it with your sound. Connect to it with your voice and your breath, and you can liberate it through your sound. And then finally, when you're finished, inviting you to come back down, really taking some time to feel the differences, what's changed, making some adjustments as you're breathing, before moving on to the second exercise. So for the second exercise, you're going to come to a standing position. You're going to stand up and keep your feet about a shoulder width apart, maybe a tiny bit further. Putting your hands on your hips, on your pelvis, and then exploring some circles. And again, you're going to use your voice here to express the feelings, the sensations that come up. So, as I'm showing in the video, you can do some full circles, you can do some half circles. It's important that you go both directions, of course. Also important that you keep your knees bent and your feet nice and solid on the floor. Again, making the sound might feel really weird at first, that's perfectly okay. But you might also find some pleasure in there, and you will also find places of tension, places where it's a bit more difficult, a bit more painful. And I really invite you again to express that with the sound, with the out-breath. To bring your voice all the way down into the pelvis. You can also try, like in the video, to go from left to right, exploring that range of motion, stretching out the different muscles, the different joints, the different ligaments around the legs, the hips, the glutes, the lower back. But always using your pelvis as a starting point. You might notice tension arise in your face, in your jaw, in your throat. That's normal. That can happen. The throat is very connected to the pelvis. So especially as we're expressing, we can encounter tension there. So massage that area. Take some pauses to massage your throat if you need to before going back to your pelvis and to your circles. Silly as it may sound or may look. That's it, finding a stretch again on either side. And we can also try a slightly wider stance. At some points you can pause, breathe, check in with how it's feeling. And then take this wider stance where you'll notice the range of motion is a lot smaller for the pelvis, but you also get a deeper stretch of the inner thighs. So again, explore this way, explore this stance, enjoy it, bring your sound, your voice down, your breath down into that area. Playing with it. Nice. Before moving on to the third exercise. And for the third exercise, you're going to take a normal stance again and put your hands on the front of your pelvis and really feel what the pelvis wants to do. So we're going to explore the yes and the no of the pelvis. So the yes of the pelvis is when it wants to move forwards, towards life, towards creation. And the no is when it feels it wants to move back away from it. And use your voice to say the words yes and no as they come up. Again, take as long as you want to do this exercise, to really explore the yes. Be really honest with yourself. It might be a lot of no's right now. It might be a lot of yeses. That's perfectly okay. But enjoy both. Really listening and tuning into that yes and no in that area. Regardless of your human design, authority, if it's there or somewhere else, you can still explore the yes and the no of the pelvis and see what it's saying. Eyes open or eyes closed, it's up to you. You can try both. Explore your yes and your no for as long as you want to, as long as feels good. And then when you're ready, when you're done with these exercises, really checking in with the difference, with how you feel, where there's more energy, more awareness, more openness. You can connect your heart to your pelvis by just placing one hand on the heart and one hand on your genital area or the pelvis or wherever feels right and good to you. To really connect with your hand. To finish with this little connection ritual. Hands, eyes closed and breath. And noticing the differences before finally ending with your hands on your heart to close.
Great, I hope you enjoyed the practice. I hope that moved a lot of tension. I hope that opened up some things for you. Really check in with how it is. Whatever's happening after the practice is perfect. It doesn't need to be a certain way. I would really invite you to continue this. It could be something you do daily in the morning, whenever you're feeling a bit stuck, for example. Loosening up your pelvis in this way just helps loosen up, in my experience, your whole body, your mind, your thoughts, your heart, your guidance. It helps you really kind of come back to this moment and come back to your power. Another way to work with the pelvis is dancing. So you could put on some music, for example, some African beats, some R&B beats, some beats that really kind of have more of that pelvic movement, that pelvic focus to help you also go there and move that. That's what I love doing, for example. Some mornings I put on some Chris Brown music and I just move a lot from the pelvis in my own way, and it really opens up power, sexuality for sure, but also creativity. I can go into my day feeling more here, more present, more empowered to go out and create what I'm called to create. So I hope that was useful. Let me know how you get on with this practice, with these exercises. Leave a comment, send a message. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for being here, and I will see you very soon. Bye.